Virgin Galactic and Maxar Technologies on news that Cathie Wood's ARK Invest is planning a space exploration ETF focusing on companies that are, quote, leading, enabling, or benefiting from technologically enabled products and or services that occur beyond the surface of Earth. No word. Look at that. Virgin Galactic up 20%. Maxar up 27, almost 28%. No word yet on what the names will be that will be included in that ETF.
Good day, folks. The space race is on, and I am putting my money where my mouth is, placing bets on what stocks are going to be held in the new ARK space ETF that Cathie Wood is putting together. And this big $10,000 bet that I made this morning purely came off a Reddit user who is trying to leak what the possible holdings are going to be based on a Japan ARK space ETF that already exists. I know, guys, this is pretty extreme, but let's zoom out here and let me just start by saying that ARK actually hasn't released the holdings yet. They're taking a look at 30 to 50 companies that are going to be in reusable rockets, orbital aerospace, suborbital aerospace, aerial drones, 3D printing, and enabling technologies here, folks. And when I went on this Reddit user's post, I was blown away by the information they were sharing, because this post was made 18 days ago and it was recently reshared. It said, many of you DM'd me for the source when I last commented about ARKX possible holdings. ARK Invest has been running a space exploration mutual fund in Japan since 2018. Now, they shared the ETF here, and he says that ARKX is likely not going to 100% match this mutual fund. I'm not sure, but their holdings will likely match most of it. And the reason this is really interesting is by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how Cathie actually kind of takes the same companies out of a lot of her ETFs. And by the end of this video, guys, I'm going to show you why it's super likely that these are going to be the companies that she's going to be choosing for the space ETF here, guys. And this is what the actual Japanese release of this holding looks like. And I can't read Japanese, but thank God I can read ticker symbols, because they do reveal the top 10 holdings in here. But for the sake of this video, I will only be revealing the top 5 highest weighted holdings in this ETF. And then you guys are going to have to join us tonight over at the Passive Income Educator, our live stream channel, where we're going to be going over the top 10 holdings, including the one that I put $10,000 into, purely based off this Japanese release of an ARK space ETF here, folks. Not to hold back too much, if you guys want a spoiler, I'm going to leave the link to that ETF right at the top of the comment section there. But getting right into this, folks, let's kick this off by starting with the literal top weighted holding in this ETF, which is Iridium Communications. Now, Iridium Communications Inc. is a publicly traded American company headquartered in McLean, Virginia. Iridium operates the Iridium satellite constellation, a system of 66 satellites used for worldwide voice, data communication, and handheld satellite phones. And just taking a look, guys, it's a relatively small cap company at $6 billion, but obviously is trading up quite a bit. They have contracts with the US government. They help supply data and information for aviation, land mobile, something to do with drones, and then even boats. So very interestingly diversified company in the industry here. Very interesting to be the top holding, which I think makes up over 7% of that entire ETF. Leading us into the numero dos, Trimble Inc. Trimble Inc. It's so weird to me how all these companies are relatively small cap and just exploding as of late here, guys. Trimble is a software and service technology company that is serving global industries in agriculture, building and construction, geospatial and natural resource and utilities, governments, transportation, and others. And I'm not exactly sure why this is the second largest holding or exactly what their operations are involved with. I'm really just revealing this information against my own ignorance, because I am still diving down into these. I'm just trying to get this to you guys as soon as possible. So consider hitting that like button and consider subscribing for future updates, guys. But taking a look at the third one in the list, of course, one that I'm familiar with, I'm gonna talk about Virgin Galactic here. My boy Matt Money, who will be joining me in the stream this evening when we go in depth about this, actually bought this at an incredible price. I think his average buy is in the low 20s on Virgin Galactic, and a lot of us are excited to see where this one goes, because it's really the first pure space play publicly traded company. It's basically the catalyst for all these other companies, including Momentus, one that I've already bought, that I'm excited to see once it comes into the public market, if it has the similar hype that this company had. But no, Momentus isn't the space stock that I put $10,000 in this morning here, folks. Now, more interestingly, JD.com made number 4 on this list, and I have no idea why. JD.com exists amongst many of the ARK ETFs that we're going to see here, guys, and I don't know what they're doing, but just like Alibaba dealing with, electric vehicles, Alibaba does everything. But I'll trust Cathie here, and I pass that question off to you. What the heck does JD.com do in space? Maybe I should have done more research research before I made this video here, folks. But let's just really quickly talk about the fifth and final one we're going to talk about here today, guys, which is Kratos Defense and Security Solutions. Now, this is where I would have presumed that there would have been a lot more exposure in these ETFs is related to anything Army, aerospace, I mean, Boeing, you would think as well. But, you know, when we're talking about things like Kratos here, developing transforming technologies and platforms, super expected that the government does a lot with satellites, aerospace, GPS, I mean, the whole 9 yards here. So it comes as no surprise that in the top 5, we're seeing a more Army-based company. But what I'm finding really interesting about all of the companies on this list here, guys, they really do exist throughout many of the other ARK ETFs. Like, let's take a look at the ARK Autonomous Technology ETF, because we're going to notice that at the top of the list here, guys, we see Trimble, we see JD.com, we see Kratos Defense, and actually throughout this entire ETF, we can even see Virgin Galactic's in here. And when I reveal the other 5 holdings tonight, which again, you can just take a look at that top pinned comment down below, but when we reveal those other 5 holdings, you're going to see a lot of them also exist within this ETF, and a few of the other ones as well. Cathie Wood and her team clearly stick to their best understanding of companies, and I'm really excited to see if my personal holdings in Momentus will get added. But however, I did drop $10,000 on one of these top 10 companies that is sitting on this Reddit release of this Japanese ARK ETF holding, and I'm going to be revealing that tonight. So don't worry, if you want as well, I'm going to be releasing a full breakdown of this company tomorrow evening on my channel here too. So in light of all this, guys, stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you, well, tonight, and if not tonight, tomorrow for sure.